Ingraham is not pleased with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that's General Mark Milley, who did not like Representative Matt Gaetz's ridiculous culture war-based question about critical race theory. Now, the way that General Milley responded is what Laura Ingraham is unhappy about. So just to remind you all of that moment, here's how it went down.
And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed.
So that was, it was just such a gratifying moment, and you should check out our previous video on the topic where we have a more in-depth discussion about the back and forth. But Laura Ingraham didn't like it, and in fact, had eventually reached a position that we can actually get behind. Maybe there is potential for bipartisan agreement in this country. Watch.
We are sending our tax dollars to this military to an attempt to weed out so-called extremists, which just means conservative evangelical, as far as I can tell. We're paying for that? Why is Congress not saying we're not going to give you a penny until all of this is eradicated from the military budget? Nothing. This is my offer to you. Nothing. That's what I would say. I'm totally outraged by him and his ridiculous response today. Go after their budget. The only thing they understand is their budget, their money.
Laura Ingraham wants to talk to the general manager of the military right this minute. She is outraged, Emma, outraged. Can you believe that our resources are going to the military? She had no idea, but now she knows and she's threatening military funding, and I say bravo, bravo.
That Karen wants a refund. And she's not gonna follow up, unfortunately. Like, I wish this was so much more in good faith, because yes, then there could be bipartisan agreement here. It's the same thing with the Tucker Carlson, oh, the CIA is woke all of a sudden, we really need to re-examine these institutions. Yes, the woke CIA that's responsible for toppling countless governments throughout the globe and has killed tens of thousands of people, innocent people, in order to prop up right-wing governments and defeat leftist ones because of communism. And then, yeah, the FBI, so woke in their assassination of civil rights leaders in the 60s and their attempts to get Martin Luther King to commit suicide. And the military as well, with their cover-up of sexual assault and their complete aiding and abetment of, the overthrow of governments and murder of innocent people. I say all of that just to preface that she's being completely disingenuous. It's the same way, as I mentioned Tucker Carlson before, where he rails against big tech, and the conservatives talk about how, oh, we need to do something about big tech because they are way too woke and they are deplatforming Donald Trump and all of the conservatives that we like. Okay, so what is the next step? Us on the left, we actually do want to defund the military to a significant degree, and we want to end the military-industrial complex, and we want to end our foreign interventions. And in terms of big tech, we want to address it on an antitrust level. Is Tucker Carlson thinking about that? Is Laura Ingraham thinking about that?
Of course
no.
Not.
I mean, yeah, and really, my final point on this is it reminds me of some of the rhetoric we see on what. Online, not to get too into that, but where it's anti-establishment, right? But there's no ideological underpinning to it. I mean, for right-wingers like that, it is a right-wing underpinning. But when you criticize something and you don't have a solution that's moving the country in a progressive direction, then it's just flailing. And that's really what that is, right? So
totally. I mean, okay, so there's a serious point that I want to kind of unpack there, because what you just mentioned in regard to, I see it a lot with the anti-imperialist messaging on the left, where a lot of it is about moralizing. And first of all, moralizing is not a persuasive argument. It just isn't, right? So is going into other countries and toppling like democratically elected governments wrong and immoral? Yes. but a ton of wrong and immoral things happen, and it doesn't persuade people to speak out or act against it. I think it's important to have a class analysis in why US imperialism or imperialism generally is a pretty awful thing, because what it is it serves as a redistribution of wealth and resources from workers to executives at the very top, right? So we are essentially paying to engage in these violent actions abroad to make other people rich, to make the elite richer than they already are. That's what is the actual issue, the foundation of US imperialism, right? You can moralize about it all you want, and if you say that it's wrong and bad and naughty, I agree with you there. But go further than that and try to understand the theoretical framework that makes the left resist US imperialism or speak out against US imperialism. So totally agree with you there. Obviously, that is not the analysis that's driving the commentary coming from the likes of Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham.
There's no analysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'm sorry, Anna. I didn't mean to cut you off, but just that's the danger of reactionary politics, right? Is because it saps leftist movements and people who are actually trying to find a solution on that front in terms of US imperialism and ending the United States project of empire amongst, and big tech overreach, et cetera. And it dresses it up in populism. And there are people on the nominal left who do the same thing, but then what is the solution? There always has to be a economic and policy-based solution to all of these things, or else it's actually quite dangerous, because somebody who watches that might think, oh, well, maybe she's in this fight with us. And in fact, she's not at all, right? So.
Look, it takes a special dum-dum to think that Laura Ingraham would ever be on the left side. So if
Tucker fooled a lot of people with that. So.
I know. Well, there are a lot of dum-dums in the world, unfortunately. But I do want to read a comment from our audience. This is from our super chat section. Dr. Zippy McScoots writes in and says, as a 3-time combat vet myself, it really pisses me off that a rich kid snob like Matt Gaetz would laugh at a general who is also a combat veteran. So thank you to our audience. I love hearing from you guys, so keep the comments coming. I'll promise to read as many of them as I can in our next social break.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.